Welcome Casero Coast, CIN's weekly segment for our 2019 July the 11th newspaper edition. We look forward to showing you a few highlights that were in last week's newspaper and some of the action for next week's edition. If you like an article and want to see more content, please subscribe to the app in either Google Play or Apple, or purchase a newspaper from your local distributor. Recently, the students in Innisfail were treated to an Australian ballet performance of Coppelia at Good Counsel College Auditorium, featuring the acclaimed Alexander Mitchell, a former student at the school who has gone on to make his community proud with his success at the Australian Ballet School in Melbourne. Mitchell was a typical 7-year-old country boy back then, but one difference between him and other kids around Innisfail was he had the talent to dance and a desire to become great at it. He was lucky enough that his talent was noticed by Louise Bulgy-Basic, known among her students as simply Miss Louise, at Dance Works Academy. At Good Counsel Primary School, Year 4 to 6 students participated in a 1-hour workshop which focused on the art of ballet, learning to tell a story through dance, and they also attempted the basic ballet moves. The students were in awe of the story of Coppelia, as Franz and Swanhilda explored Dr. Coppelia's toy workshop and play a prank on their old toy maker. Mitchell is currently a dance educator in the Australian Ballet Education Program, which produced the Storytime Ballet series. Part of his job is dancing in this series, which was designed to make the art form accessible to young Australians. It was conceived as a response to the fact that while dance is a part of the Australian curriculum, many teachers struggle to cover it in their classes. The series makes the art of ballet more accessible to younger students by reducing famous ballets to shorter versions, using younger dancers and keeping it light, avoiding the darker themes often found in ballets such as Swan Lake. Mitchell was delighted with the reactions and responses from students in the workshops and performances, as it showed how engaged they were. It's amazing to be an inspiration and role model for kids, to show them what is possible in the arts, and that even a country boy from Innisfail can follow their dreams. Miss Louise said she knew, even at 7 years old, that Mitchell would succeed in his discipline, and not just because of his innate talent. The special ones, you know it as soon as you meet them. Alex had a great willing to listen. It's not for everyone. It's a different life being a dancer. It's quite intense and you have to love it. She also acknowledged that he had plenty of support, which can be vital for a boy looking to make a career as a dancer. He had the loving support of his family. They let him follow his dream. His clearly proud mum pieced Mitchell to Innisfail and was equally thrilled to catch up with friends and teachers back in Innisfail, where she also grew up. The Far North Queensland Open Golf Chip held at the beautiful Atherton Golf Club last weekend, had its competitors shaking with nerves on nearly every, but especially shots on or near the green. The greenskeeper had the grass mown tight, almost as fast as the notorious US Open greens, according to Stewie Worth, president of the FNQ Golf Association. He claimed that the players were practicing their putting in the preparation for the par 70 two-round event. The 18th hole at Atherton was a fitting final challenge for Queensland's finest amateur golfers, playing at the biggest amateur golf event ever held in far north Queensland, with prizes made available by sponsor Golf World. It's only a 148-metre par 3, but is ranked the 5th hardest hole on the course. At the tee, players discussed with their caddies whether to add 2 or 3 clubs to the length of the hole to take into account that it was uphill all the way to the pin and into a gusting wind of 10 to 15 kilometers per hour that highlighted even the slightest swing mistakes. The pressure they faced was not just due to the length and the wind, but the fact that the greens required a near-perfect shot due to the speed and dryness. This resulted in tiny, unconscious last-second swing adjustments for most competitors, causing the vast majority of shots to handers or left and use the green. No landing area around the green was good because the long chip shots were not guaranteed to hold the hard dry surface. Ollie Duncan from Half Moon Bay, GC, came to the 18th tee with relatively little pressure due to a comfortable 4-shot lead ahead of Frank Power, Cairns GC, a near-perfect tee shot that flew straight over the pin, nestling a couple of feet from the back of the green. But even from prime position, he faced a tricky downhill putt that could have easily rolled down the hill and off the front of the green if he'd hit a little too hard. He kept his shot within the hole, and his nerve held as he sunk the uphill putt to finish the round at 72, 2 shots over the par for the day and 68-72 for the weekend. William Florimo, Gales GC in Brisbane, finished third, 6 shots back. As champion, Duncan gets automatic entry into the Queensland Open Championship in December, which will have a purse of about $110,000 with $16,500 going to the winner. Bear in mind that as an amateur, Duncan can only accept a maximum cash prize of $1,200 unless he declares himself professional, which would make him ineligible for any amateur events for at least 2 years. Duncan at +1 was one of 8 players at the tournament with a handicap of scratch or better in what was one of the highest quality fields assembled for an amateur event in Queensland, surely attracted by the large prizes available. Next on the FNQ circuit is the Titleist Super IGA Open at Elarish on July 27 and 28. The home course of the outstanding performer far north Queensland opened this past weekend. Jake Perkins, a 20-year-old prodigy who owns the course record at Elarish, 62, shot 78-70 this weekend. Steve Wells won the net senior event and came the C-grade net event. Playing at their home course in 3 weeks' time will provide them with a big advantage, and they'll be expecting to do well at the pass. The Threads exhibition, which will run up until August 28, has become the highlights of the Mission Arts exhibition calendar. Featuring fibre and textile artists of the Cassowary Coast, it is one of the most important celebrations of this in North Queensland. The exhibition features dyeing, knitting and crochet, lino printing, hand and machine embroidery, basketry, shibori, silk painting and more. As well as works that there are decorative art pieces, there will be functional artworks such as clothing, tableware, shawls and scarves, jewellery and bags on display. We spoke with Sally Moroney, the convener of the Threads exhibition, which she has done for the last few years. It's the showcase of fibre and textile. We found that we've got some brilliant fibre and textile artists working in all different ways around here, and they didn't really have to display their work or showcase different aspects of the art form. We have felt makers, knitters, crocheters. We have people who embroider with machines or by hand. We have got people who paint silk and dye fabric in different ways, and people who just do creative sewing, making amazing dresses and outfits, sculpture and basketry. So this time around, they have about 15 different participants, and they are also different, she said. It wasn't hard to attract artists. We knew various people in fibre and textile, and we got such a good response when we called for entries for the exhibition. And because there's no other exhibition of fibre and textile art anywhere in North Queensland, it's quite a unique thing. Moroney is always looking to get people involved, and new people are always welcome. They just have to find their niche. Will we have one group, the Cassowary Coast Yarners, who focus on... They meet every couple of weeks, mainly at the centre because they use the theatre there. So that's a good opening. Keep an eye out because we have workshops throughout the year. Doing shibari or different dyeing. One of the things, just seeing all the stuff come in, which she sees as pivotal. All these scars, closed sculptures, all this amazing stuff, a wonderfully professional team of volunteer helpers. I managed to transform a magic exhibition more than just a pile of different people's work, but it's an art form in itself. That itself was a full day's work for 5 or 6 people. Moroney worth it because it's amazing.